Now, to understand the profit and loss statement in detail, let us have a look at the profit and loss statement or the income statement on the same website, that is moneycontrol.com, as we had seen for the balance sheet. Alright, so earlier we had clicked on the balance sheet here. Now we will click on the income statement. And since we are studying the standalone company, we will click on standalone and then go for this annual statement. Alright, so this is what will come in front of you as we see on the screen. It reveals the story for the past 5 years, right from 2016 to 2020. Now, as we said earlier, since we are in India, this statement is as on the last financial day, that is 31st March of every year. Now, for different countries, the financial year could be different. So don't worry about that. The concept and the principle remains the same. But before we analyze the data for the 5 years, let us cover up or close the past 4 years as we had done for the balance sheet, and let us first try and understand the meaning of each of these parameters which are given here in the profit and loss statement. Alright, so in the simplest form, this is what a profit and loss statement looks like. Alright, now before we proceed further, let me also caution you that different websites or different literature will show you the profit and loss statement in different forms. Some will show you in more details. The headings may be in different names, but do not get confused. The concept or the principle behind what we are learning remains the same. So once you understand the fundamentals or the spirit behind what we are discussing, then in whatever form the data is presented to you, you will be able to rearrange the same in the desired format or the format which is given here on the screen, and then proceed with your analysis. So the first thing we talk about is the sales. Alright, sometimes it is also called as revenue or gross sales or gross revenue. And since it happens to be the first line or the topmost line in the profit and loss statement, it is commonly referred to as the top line. Alright, but the point to be noted here, or what needs to be understood, is that this is the money which the company gets by conducting its core business or the main business. For example, if the core business of the company is to produce refrigerators, and in a year, say for example, it sells 10 million refrigerators at a price of say $200 each. So therefore the sales or the revenue generated from the sales of these refrigerators will be $2000 million. Alright, now mark my words, what I am talking here about is the sales, not how much they have manufactured. The company may have manufactured say 12 million refrigerators, but since it has sold only 10 million in that year, we are going to consider the revenue generated from 10 million refrigerators only. Alright, so then comes something called as other income. This other income, what we see here, is actually the collective income from all other sources other than the core business. Now, the income from the core business we have already seen here, this 2920. Alright, so everything else which the company earns apart from its core business, that is clubbed under the head other income. Now, say for example, the company may be having a large shed which it may have rented out to somebody. So the rental income received from letting out that shed is other income, because renting out a shed is not the main business of the company. Similarly, the company may have some investments in maybe fixed deposits of other companies or some other investments, or say for example the interest received from the bank or various other sources, these minor incomes which the companies keep getting from here and there. All those things are clubbed under the head of other income. All right. Then the sales and the other income together, when they are summed up, it gives us the total income. All right. So here what we see, 2920 plus the other income 309, that sums up to 3229. This is the total income which the company has earned over that financial year. Okay. Then we talk something about called as total expenditure. Let us see what this total expenditure is. All right. So the company has to incur expenditure on various things like purchasing the raw material, the salary and wages of the staff and workers, expenditure incurred on selling the product which it makes, marketing expenditure, and all other administrative expenditure, which is required for the day-to-day running of the company. All this comes clubbed together under a head which is called as the total expenditure. So now when you deduct the total expenditure from the total income, you get something called as EBIT, or the earnings. All right. This EBIT is the earning before deduction of interest and tax. Earning before interest and tax, that is EBIT or EBIT. All right. Now once this EBIT is known, then the company has to pay the interest and the tax. As we know, the company would have borrowed money from various institutions, financial institutions, banks, and various other lenders. It could be also the public who would have purchased the debentures of the company. So at the end of the financial year, the company has to pay the interest for all the borrowed money. And thereafter, the company also has to pay the tax to the government. All right. And therefore, after paying the interest and tax from EBIT, what remains is the net profit. So what you see at the bottom of the profit and loss statement is the net profit. And since this profit is shown on the last line of the profit and loss statement or the income statement, it is also called as the bottom line. All right. So the top line and the bottom line are the two most important and most relevant things in a profit and loss statement. And even among these two, the business or the owners of the business are more interested in the bottom line, that is the net profit. So all that a company wants to see at the end of the year is the net profit or the bottom line, isn't it? So now you recollect the second part or the second half of the definition of the profit and loss statement which we read earlier. It says the ability or inability of the company to generate profit either by increasing the sales or reducing the expenditure or a combination of both. So there are two ways of increasing the profit or the bottom line of the company. One is to increase the sales. You can go on increasing the sales. But suppose what happens is, if you increase the sales, but along with the sales, what happens if the expenditure also increases? Say the cost of raw material increases, the wages and salary of the workers and staff increase, the expenditure incurred on selling also increase, all the other administrative expenditure increase, then in that case the bottom line is not going to increase. So the bottom line can be increased by increasing the top line and by reducing the expenditure, or by a combination of both. So the ultimate aim of the company is to increase the bottom line, whichever way. Either you do it by increasing the top line and keeping the expenditure constant, or you do it by increasing the top line as well as reduce the expenditure. At the end of the day, the bottom line must increase. All right.